To me, there's no difference. I've hunted both, well, some of the things I've hunted and have hunted are sometimes partly man and partly monster. Despite how cliche it sounds, I was a soldier in the US Army and eventually fought my way up through the ranks, and I've earned the honor of becoming part of the renowned Delta Force. After 15 years of being a soldier, I was honorably discharged from there and was hired by a private US military contractor to be part of a task force to hunt monsters. My squad was called Task Force Compass Nova Hunter. The relatively small task force consisted of 4 other soldiers. The first one, Gary, was a Korean American in a green beret with his black hair tied up into a bun, and also he didn't give a flying fuck about anything. The second member of our little task force was Jack, an Irish fellow who was an FBI agent and special forces soldier who, like me, had climbed up the ranks after becoming a soldier. The third guy, Charlie, was from Arizona and had been a forest ranger for 5 years before becoming a soldier working for a private black ops organization that was probably dedicated to torturing puppies or some shit. And last but not least, there was Hugo. Hugo was an extremely skilled ex-sniper in his 50s, a former Navy SEAL, a total badass. We all sat down on chairs in a room with a man wearing the fucking cliche black man in black suit who would brief us. None of us was informed why we were needed by the private military contractor, but apparently a huge sum of cash was involved. Men, you have all been brought here to do. The man was interrupted. I'll just get to the fucking point already, Gary said, which caused everyone to look at him. What? I'll need a beer if this gets too boring. Shut up, boy. Remember when we beat you in the fucking war? The man in the suit, who I later learned was just referred to as Smith, said I doubted that Smith was his real name. Smith, he's Korean, not Vietnamese. And America actually lost, I said. Well, shit, they're all the same anyways. Gary spit on the floor and grinned at Smith. Well, I don't even know what to say, and I guess we're all the same. So I did win. He continued as I was so rudely interrupted. I was saying that you're all sent and hired to create a task force to hunt monsters and dangerous entities. Essentially, you've all been hired as elite mercenaries in a team called Task Force Compass Nova Hunter. There was a long pause. Are you bullshitting us? Hugo asked. No, Smith replied. He pulled out a small remote, then turned on a television in the back of the room. Gary whistled. This is gonna be good. Smith played a video on the television with multiple images of a forest with gory deer remains everywhere on the high treetops, then a picture of a gigantic tentacled entity which was 100 feet in length. Then the screen switched to a blurry image of something that appeared to be humanoid with a very long neck and head. Then it switched to a video of an extremely tall yet skinny and deformed man in an interrogation room, simply pulling his chains off when the interrogator was gone, and ripping a hole in the concrete wall with his bare hands. Then a picture of a huge map of the Appalachian Mountains with red dots in specific locations and names attached to them. And then the video ended. Now, do you believe this? Smith put the remote away. The pictures in the video were so damn blurry, I said. Can't you government people just get a shitload of 4K cameras? Nope, Smith replied. All the pictures were taken by portrait. I swear Smith did a power move by checking the time on his Rolex and grinning. Well, we're out of time here. I'll show you around. Get used to this shitty place. An hour later, after some more boring briefings and slideshows, Charlie, Hugo, Gary, Jack, and I were in the armory of the private contractor's base, while Smith showed us the weapons. Boss said you could use anything you want for the mission, so knock yourselves out. But you'll be fighting in the deep woods, and you'll need the heavy stuff, so choose well. Who's boss? Jack asked. Well, I'll see you later, Smith said, ignoring the question and slipping out of the room. I'm kind of an old school guy, so I picked a nice Benelli M4 out of the neatly organized armory, and I also took out a combat knife and a plate carrier. Yeah, I said, I'm more of an old school guy. Close combat is my specialty, so I'm basically married to shotguns. Shotgun, shotgun, shotgun. So are we hunting deer or ISIS? Probably both. Jack picked out an identical assault rifle to Gary's, while Hugo, the sniper of the group, picked a Barrett M82. The next day, from America, we were deployed to a very, very remote part of the deep Canadian wilderness, somewhere in Ontario. A helicopter dropped us off, and we were assigned to hunt down and kill an unknown entity that was causing multiple deaths and disappearances. The plan was to cover and clear the area, then wait until nightfall, and when the creature was most active, we would kill it. So, guns up, we walked through the deep Ontario woods. What do you call a building full of angry white people? Gary asked. What? I asked, scanning the trees for any sign of movement. The divorce court? I choked on the laugh. Cut this shit, Gary, Hugo said. We're not here to fuck around. We're here to kill monsters and kick some ass. You mean lick some ass? Suddenly, something jumped from the trees and landed on top of Charlie. Fuck, he yelled. The monster turned his head and screeched. It was a huge humanoid, deer-like creature with a 15-pointed rack of antlers, and the monster had an abnormally large hinged jaw filled with huge and sharp teeth. Strangest of all, beneath each regular deer eye were pairs of two yellow reptilian eyes, which were seemingly the real eyes. I can't get a good shot, Jack yelled. Kick the asshole off. Though the deer creature was at least twice Charlie's size, he managed to stab the fucker with a knife in the vital organs several times, which caused the monster to jump straight off of him. It got on all fours as Charlie kicked it off as he scrambled back and stood up with his gun. Let's light up this fucking bitch. We all unloaded our weapons on the creature, and it was instantly obliterated into a mushy pulp of monster. It didn't go down, and it slowly got up until Hugo sniped the monster's head. I saw it twitch and slowly get back up, even though its face was a mushy pulp, and growled. Gary walked up to the monster, kicked it, and stomped on what was left of the monster, sending its brain matter and guts everywhere. The creature didn't move after that. He spit his chewing tobacco on the dead monster. That's what you get, asshole. Wait, I actually needed that. Unbelievably, Gary reached down and plucked what was left of his chewing tobacco off of the dead monster's mushy head. He just blew it off, flicked a part of the monster's eye off of the chewing tobacco, and put it back in his mouth. Good as new, Gary said as he chewed the tobacco. There is something seriously fucking wrong with you, Gary. Thank you, man. I radioed back to Smith with the long-range radio. We killed the son of a bitch, I said. Already? Smith asked. Can you describe it? It looked like a deer out of hell. 6 eyes. 2 eyes were fake. It walked on 2 legs. It had teeth like fucking needles. And a huge mouth. No, that ain't it, Matt, Smith said. You guys just killed a not deer. They're pretty common around these parts, but they still eat human. So good job at killing it. My heart dropped. You mean that what we just killed is not the target? No. What you're looking for probably eats not deer. Basically on the corpses we found, but we haven't gotten a real description of your target, since all the witnesses get killed. But if you by chance see something that can move at incomprehensible speeds and has a kill count of over 50 armed men, then that's the target. By the way, is that Korean asshole Gary dead? No, actually, he's the one who finished it off. He just spit his chewing tobacco on the bloody not deer, but then picked it off and put it back in his mouth, because that was the last one. Hey, is that Smith? Gary asked, reloading his assault rifle. Yeah, I said. Fuck you, Smith. Smith hung up when he heard Gary. So, what did Smith say, jackass? I look at the corpse of the not deer. Apparently, we just killed. It's not the target. It was the target's food. Fuck me? Charlie said. I should have reconsidered that damn contract. Well, we need to get moving anyway. It'll be nightfall soon, and we need to cover as much area as possible. I have a feeling that our target will come to us. That night, the rest of Compass Nova Hunter and I made a large campfire and sat around it keeping watch. The woods was eerily silent. It was not a bird chirping, not a squirrel or deer, although that might have been because of the gunshots we let out when an aggressive bear came too close for comfort. In the middle of the night, when it got much darker and colder, we started taking shifts on keeping watch and sleeping. It was definitely large. Based on the way it was moving, I shook Gary and the rest of the group awake. Gary, damn it! Gary, wake up! What the hell? Gary stood up and grabbed his rifle. We've got movement. They're in the trees. Where else have I heard that before? Everyone took their positions, with Hugo sniping from the campsite, and us actively hunting for the monster. The creature jumped up from the trees onto the ground and began moving at an incomprehensible speed towards us. It was so fast that I couldn't make out any real physical details of the creature, other than it was at least the size of a military Humvee, and it was crawling on all fours. At this point, the Compass Nova hunters have encountered a barrage of hellish abominations, starting with a juiced up, giant humanoid, deer-like creature from another dimension with shark teeth. Must have busted through some portal. In the forest, an evil sex cult was doing a satanic ritual to usher in the devil and his army. More likely, an escape lab experiment gone astronomically wrong. Scary cabin in the woods story for sure. Plum Island is a military base that has had its stories of mutated creatures beached on shore of New York, which made headlines. Couldn't get me to go camping if you put a gun to my head. Back to Plum Island, where the biggest Lyme disease outbreaks happened in the 90s. They experimented with the Lone Star tick, spreading Lyme disease to New York and Connecticut, infecting people with Lyme disease and killing them. There were reportedly 11 accounts of people that died from it, but who knows the real number. At that moment, I fired a shot and let a huge spray of Italian buckshots out at the creature, but I completely missed. The monster was now within 50 meters. Based on what my headlamp and gun barrel flashlight was showing with a loud gunshot, Hugo fired the 50 cal rifle, amazingly hitting the monster. It screeched out in pain, and the bullet was powerful enough to temporarily stop it. Right dead in a sudden stop. I noticed one detail of the creature. Long tentacles. In a sudden rush, the creature was suddenly moving again with incomprehensible speed, just circling our camp. And as if things couldn't get any crazier, we heard two rapid bursts of a high caliber weapon, not belonging to us, firing at once, hitting the creature. The two very well placed repeated bursts of bullets were enough to scare the huge creature, and the enormous monster jumped on a tree and disappeared through the woods without a trace. Who the hell was that? I asked. Two figures emerged from the trees behind our camp. They were both well over 6 feet tall, dressed in tactical gear and modified hunting outfits, and holding large custom-made tactical elephant rifles with magazines. The man on the right, who was tall, in his early 30s or late 20s, and nearly 7 feet tall, spoke up. I could ask the same thing. Who the hell are you guys? TFCNH, Task Force Compass Nova Hunters, Gary said. What are you two knuckle fucks doing out here? The man turned to his partner and asked, Hey Sergio, are they with us? No, Zach, Sergio replied. Where are you guys from? Private military contractor, Hugo said. We're on an extermination mission right now to kill whatever the fuck just attacked us. Who's sending you? The Hunters, Zach said, a private and loosely organized organization, yet globally operated. My friends here, Sergio, takes care of most of the cases. We're here to kill whatever is causing all of the animal and human deaths around the area. But looks like our target found us. You guys. Yeah, I said. Our contractor hired the best and highest ranked people to hunt these monsters. Any idea who your contractors are? Gary said. Nope. Not at all. They never gave us their name. Those weird ass government fuckos just gave us a huge check and said fuck it. Any idea what the hell that thing even is? I asked. I wouldn't be surprised by anything. We just killed a demon deer a few hours ago. If we did, do you think we would be hunting it? Zach said. That thing moves so fast that it's probably supernatural. So your bullets aren't gonna do shit except annoy it. And you have something better? I asked. Actually, yes I do. We have incendiary 50 caliber silver tipped rounds, blessed by several shamans, covered in white ash and holy water, salt and juniper ash. It's worth it, but damn, it's hard to get bullets like those. Gary whistled. Looks like those damn bureaucrats aren't the smartasses that they say they are. No wonder they didn't give us that magic shit in the first place. Suddenly, we heard multiple screeches all around us. What the fuck? I muttered. Then we saw multiple glowing eyes open in the treetops all around us. 12 eyes, each belonging to each monster in the trees. Fuck, there's more of them, Zach said. More fun for me. Gary grinned. Zach pulled out a flare, lit it, and held it high in the air. The monsters surrounding us screeched and recoiled as Zach thrust the flare in the air. Light! He yelled. These fuckers are scared of light. Immediately everyone started throwing logs and sticks into the smoldering fire, and Charlie poured his entire whiskey flask into the fire. How many are there? I asked Hugo. A dozen at least, kid. And how many people do we have? 7, counting those weird monster hunters over there. I walked over to Zach. So you said our bullets can't do much, since we don't have your holy water shit. Yeah, but you can dip your bullets in this. So Zach took a medium-sized jar out of his backpack, and it was filled to the brim with a mixture of holy water, salt, silver particles, and white, as blessed by a shaman. Our squad began dipping our shotgun shells and bullets and knives in the concoction, thanking the monster hunters. Now let's go kill these fuckers, I said. Wait a minute, guys, Gary started. Where did all of the monsters go? From somewhere deep in the woods, I couldn't see. Something threw a huge log at our campfire, smoldering it and sending ash and tree branches and dust everywhere. Fuck! Gary yelled. It's showtime. All of a sudden, every single one of the monsters came at us at once, crashing through the trees and leaping through the clearing. They were so fast that in the initial charge, our team only managed to kill 4 of them with our guns. On your 6! Charlie yelled, but it was too late. One of the monsters jumped on me and pinned me down to the ground, roaring as it tried to slash away at my Kevlar vest. I shined my light on it, and that's when I got a good look at the ugly son of a fucking nutcracker. You thought I was going to say bitch, did you? No, I swear worse than that. It was huge, 2 feet taller than me, maybe a little bit taller than Zach, with a round face and mostly humanoid torso, with tentacles protruding out of it, but with 8 bent and strange spindly legs. It was skinny, with a round head and hinged jaw, with rows and rows of teeth. Its mouth surrounded by a long crown of tentacles. One of the monsters jumped out at me and pinned me down to the ground, roaring as it tried to slash at my Kevlar vest. I shined my light on it, and that's when I got a good look at the ugly son of a fucking nutcracker. You thought I was going to say bitch, did you? No, I swear worse than that. It was huge, 2 feet taller than me, maybe a little bit taller than Zach, with a round face and mostly humanoid torso. with tentacles protruding out of it, but with 8-bit and strange spindly legs. It was skinny, with a round head and a hinged jaw and rows of teeth. Its mouth surrounded with a long crown of tentacles. "Get the fuck off me," I yelled. I stabbed into the creature with my knife, but unlike the deer creature from earlier, it didn't budge. Is this the end? After all this? I heard a very quick shing of a blade being taken out of its sheath. The monster's decapitated head fell down on my face. Zach stood above me holding a large tactical katana hybrid he had sheathed to his belt earlier. The blade was just dripping with black blood. "Get up, you nearly got your ass killed," Zach said. "What the fuck?" I exclaimed. "This isn't fucking Demon Slayer. How did you do that?" Zach resheathed the sword and picked up his rifle. We had killed 7 so far. That meant there were 5 or more left. But the monsters had retreated. Gary fired a few shots into the woods. "Yeah, better run, you fucking pussies. Fuck off, back to hell." So we reloaded our weapons, checked for injuries, and headed off. With the help of 2 experts, we began to track the monsters back to wherever they came from. We ended up at a large cave system in a rock wall, where we could hear multiple screeches and shouts come from. "Alright," Hugo said, "it's too close quarters for me to fight in there. So I'll wait out here in case any stragglers try to get out." Sergio laughed. "Sure, kid. I've killed thousands of these things. Even though I don't know what they are." We all reloaded up and went inside and cleared the area. We walked forward until we hit a huge cave section, at least the size of a high school gym. I lit a flare and held it up in the eyes of at least 24 individual monsters reflected back at me. Gary whistled, possibly for the last time. "Let's fuck shit up!" And with a flurry of gunshots, we did fuck shit up. By some miracle, we ended up killing every last one of the monsters, and Hugo took care of the ones trying to escape. To kill any eggs or survivors, Zach threw in an incendiary grenade inside, and I called in the cleanup crew, and Zach and Sergio went their separate ways. We were paid greatly, in the double digits, thousands, and the next extermination was a month away, to hunt a nest of Tachigumo in Japan. Gary, Hugo, Jack, Charlie, and I became close friends, meeting up every week to drink around a bonfire and share wartime stories. 6 years later, I received a call on a Friday, and the caller ID was an anonymous. I picked it up. "Hello?" I said. "This is Zach," said the man. "Remember me?" "Oh yeah. How did you find my phone?" "Oh yeah. How did you find my phone number, by the way?" "Of course I do. You fought with us in those woods in Canada, right?" Yeah. That was all sunshines and rainbows. But we have a bigger problem. An ancient deity called Kala Tegatulku just broke free from a massive hollow cave system below the sea, and that asshole is heading for the mainlands with a whole army of ugly sons of bitches. I've already talked with your superiors and all of your squad mates. Would you care to join? To fuck shit up and save thousands of lives? "Hell yeah," I said. "Count me in."